A quiet town in Ogun State is fast becoming a symbol of industrial pollution in Nigeria. Once known for its economic activities, it's now plagued by worsening toxic emissions from metal recycling companies operating with little oversight. Despite previous clampdown by authorities, pollution persists, leaving residents to battle with worsening air quality and health risks. This and more will be our focus in this week's edition of Green Angle. Welcome. I am Esther Mokwariola. And before we begin, let's bring you updates from the world of environment.
It's been 6 days since the flash flood swept through Mokwa town in Niger State. The devastation is still evident, and the people are still counting their losses. According to the Niger State Emergency Management Agency, 5 more bodies have been recovered today alone. Victims were swept away by the force of the water. But for others, the pain runs deeper. There is uncertainty as many families are still searching for their relatives, hoping for closure. Food aid from the government has now started reaching survivors. For many, it's their first feeling of support they will get since the flood pierced through their community. Maria Yusuf was rescued in the flood a few meters away from here. She's glad to have survived, but sad over the loss of her newborn baby, her mother, her elder sister, and her brother's wife. There are no official IDP camps yet, so survivors like Maria come to open spaces like this to collect food items.
We collected 50 bags of rice. I think it's 5 kgs, we carried like 30 people in my house, just only my husband.
Saliu Suleiman, who lost everything to the flood, now helps distribute aid as part of a local relief committee.
All this food is fine, they can send us food, but this food now, some people can use it 1 month, it will finish. After that, how will you survive? But if you have a place where you call home, after this you can hustle, you can be hustling, getting what you can eat every day. But if there is no house, you can't stay, you won't even be comfortable. Like me, I'm staying with my friend now. Bet me, I'm not that comfortable.
With more victims still unaccounted for, the full scale of the disaster is yet to be known.
The aid distribution is following a simple strategy. Since there is no IDP camp set up, the locals were able to set 3 different spots for collection of aid here and 3 other areas around this place. And it's according to the nearness of your house to ensure that order is maintained and no one is left out. Chenemi Bami, TVC News, Mokwa.
Victims of last Thursday's flooding in Mokwa, Niger State, are still counting their losses. Official figures peg the number of casualties at over 200, with many still missing, over 3,000 people displaced, and properties worth millions of naira destroyed. In the midst of the confusion that greeted the early morning torrential rains on the 29th of May, people speculated that water releases from Kenji and Jeba dams caused the havoc. But the government says such comments are false and unfounded because both dams are intact.
The flooding in Mokwa is not caused by any breakage from any of our dams. The flooding is as a result of inadequate drainages within the vicinity and which arise with high rainfall.
Unregulated buildings and construction activities are also responsible for the flooding.
There is a railway that passes between River Dingi and Mokwa settlement, and we're meant to understand that the area under flooding is a flood plain where people in the past were advised not to settle.
In its 2025 annual flooding outlook forecast, the Federal Ministry of Water Resources and Sanitation, through the Nigeria Hydrological Services Agency, predicted flood in 19 local government areas of Niger State, including Mokwa. The forecast shows that 1,249 communities in 176 local government areas across 33 states fall within the high flood risk areas, while 2,000 187 communities in 293 local governments in 31 states, including the Federal Capital Territory, fall within the moderate flood risk areas.
We liaise with the Niger State government by seeing how people that are residing on the floodplain can be relocated.
The absence of alternative pathways to redirect the excess water worsened the impact of the flood on the communities. Government renews commitment in managing the nation's water resources in a sustainable and climate-friendly manner and calls on leading actors in the sector, including government agencies, the civil society organizations, and community leaders to synergize in building safer and more resilient communities. Joke Edsa, TVC News, Abuja.
With rising concerns over indiscriminate waste disposal and other environmental violations, the Ministry of Environment says it is intensifying enforcement efforts. The Commissioner emphasized that there will be zero tolerance for all forms of environmental infractions moving forward.
Lagosians must also know that there are stiff penalties for offenders now. Anyone caught dumping refuse illegally or littering the environment with refuse faces up to 250,000 Naira fine or up to 3 months imprisonment under the Lagos State Sanitation Law provisions. Serial offenders, however, will face stiffer punishments. If your PSP operators fails in any way to collect your waste, kindly report them to LOMA or the ministry through the following LOMA outline channels: 080 000, then LOMA after it.
Mr. Wahab also reaffirmed that the ban on street trading remains fully in effect. He says no trading will be allowed on roads, medians, open spaces or pedestrian walkways.
What is the role of the local government? They are a third tier of government. Ours is to collaborate with them. And in fairness, we collaborated with most of them. Some of them, for reasons best known to them, actually issue tickets to them. But are those tickets lawful? When there's a clear ban on the activity. So that is why the messaging is very key for us. The advocacy is very key for us, and the ban will be enforced.
In addition, the state government says there is no going back on the July 1st deadline for enforcing the ban on single-use plastics. However, officials say advocacy and public sensitization efforts are being intensified to support compliance. Green Angle returns in just a moment. Stay with us. Scenes like this are all too familiar in Ogijo, a suburb town in Ogun State. Thick smoke, toxic air, and environmental degradation, the consequences of unchecked industrial pollution from numerous metal recycling companies operating here. For many residents, it's a daily struggle with health hazards and a polluted environment they feel powerless to change. There are several metal recycling companies in Ogijo, many of which operate unethically, polluting the environment without restraint. While the authorities have taken steps to seal some of these companies, many of them continue their activities unchecked. 2 years ago, my team and I visited this same community and reported on the ongoing pollution. Residents made an urgent appeal for government intervention at the time.
We are suffering. We are suffering here, but we are trying to manage ourselves.
In this area, you see some people coughing. They cough out dust. Now, because if you wake up in the midnight, you will see because it was in the night that they used to open their funnel. That everywhere, because they know in the afternoon people will be at home. But when you are asleep, they will open their funnel. Then everything will come out. So you cannot even open your window.
Following that report, a number of companies were shut down for breaching environmental laws. But now, those companies are back in full operation. And the pollution is just as bad, if not worse. It's as though nothing ever changed.
So men 3 years ago, I block on during the ones for any time bí oṣù méjì àbí oṣù mẹ́ta èéfín yẹn lọlẹ̀ ṣùgbọ́n nísìnyí èéfín yẹn gan ṣe ló tó wá dọ́bù nísìnyí fẹ́ pé wọ́n àfẹ́ tiwa gidigidi sórí náà máa fẹ́ kí ìjọba kan ràn wá lọ́wọ́ láti lè bá a ṣàtúnṣe bí èéfín yẹn ṣe ní dàrá láàmú. ìsídà ìgbà míì a lè wúkọ́ kó jẹ́ pé nǹkan láti ọkàn kẹlẹ̀bẹ̀ ló ń tọ́ máa tú jáde ìgbà míì ẹ̀jẹ̀ àìmọye àwọn gan tó ti kú tìtorí èéfín so a ní kí ìjọba kó ràn wá lọ́wọ́ láti lè bá a gbà wọn lọ́wọ́ fún gbogbo ìdísọ́pù tó ń fi dísọ́pù.
When you go to Ikeja, for instance, let's say Agidingbi, you know, we have a lot of companies now. We have Guinness there, we have FCW there, you understand? But those ones, they are taking 100% responsibility of what they are meant to do. You understand? They contribute to the development of that area. But in our own case, we are seeing something negative. We are not seeing something positive.
We reached out to officials of the companies accused of polluting the area. They declined to speak on camera, insisting they follow environmental guidelines. But the footage we captured paints a different picture, one of smoke, noise and polluted drainages. While filming, we received word that the Ogun State Environmental Protection Agency had just sealed one of the recycling firms. When we arrived on scene, no one was willing to speak with us. But our investigations later confirmed that the facility was shut down after one person was accidentally killed in this facility. In a statement by a senior official of the agency, Farouk Akintunde, he said, quote, "Despite regular monitoring and outreach by the state government to educate operators on safety procedures, some companies continue to flout these rules, often with tragic consequences. These incidents led to the recent shutdowns." End quote. While some companies had indeed been sealed when we visited, others continued operations with smoke visibly filling the sky, making breathing difficult for residents. Locals say they are fed up and feel abandoned by authorities who they believe aren't doing enough to protect them.
It's not good for our health. It's killing. It's cancerous. There's companies in Ikeja. They're coming all over the places. They're doing pollution, but nobody's seeing the pollution. So why can't they do it here? In my house, go to my place now, in my wardrobe, all my clothes is just covered with the pollution, whatever, stained. We have made with them time with that number. They agree. We have a written agreement with them that they smoke, they're going to work on it. And still now they have not worked on it. Government is aware. They are colluded. People are suffering. You can call police for them. You go to government and report. It's not so. We have reported. They have come. They have seen by themselves. And what can we do?
We spoke to a healthcare professional at a nearby clinic who asked to remain anonymous. He confirmed that pollution from recycling plants is taking a toll on public health, increasing cases of respiratory issues and related complications.
But with the level of smoke we have there, definitely they are susceptible to it. You can't remove that, never. Because the smoke is still the same everybody breathing and out. And in the course of doing that, you breathe in those that are not pure, and you understand, just like that. So it's not out of place at all.
So when they inhale this kind of thing, we'll be having issues of asthma or pneumonia or
yes,
what kind of...
asthma, respiratory problem. It has to do majorly with respiratory system. Yes, because when you inhale it, it enters into the lungs before it starts to accumulate. And these things doesn't come with in a GV. Sometimes it takes time before it, the body has a way of also fighting against foreign bodies in the system. You understand? So you may not even feel the impact in the next 1 year. It has to be, it may be a chronic stuff that comes with time.
Seeking further insight, we spoke with a researcher who explained that the level of pollution in Ogiju exceeds the limit recommended by the World Health Organization, with prolonged exposure potentially leading to chronic illnesses and long-term health risks.
Daily values exceeded NESRIA standard of 40 micrograms per meter cube by up to 4 times. And this is what people are exposed to on a daily basis. If you calculate AQI, our AQIs are consistently above 500. That's hazardous. AQI shouldn't be more than 50 to be moderate, to be healthy. If you are going to 100, it's becoming unhealthy. If you are going to 200-300, it's becoming terrible. Like 500 is hazardous to life. And these are the values we recorded over a period of 25 days. But theoretically speaking, from literature, people who have done this epidemiological study on a very high level, including WHO, they have found that elevated particulate matter concentration level are responsible for very acute lung diseases, very serious, severe cardiovascular challenges, breathing problem, pneumonia of all sorts, not just cold. Particulate matter can also affect the proper functioning of the lungs. People can die of various respiratory problems.
Efforts have been made, even at the federal level, to draw attention to the crisis. A former member of the National Assembly submitted a petition highlighting the dire conditions. But so far, no concrete action has been taken to bring lasting relief to the people of Ogijo.
And have a petition from Joint CDA's movement to save lives from Baga Town Hall, Ogijo in Shagamu, against environmental pollution that is devastating their communities.
The National Environmental Standards and Regulations Enforcement Agency has acknowledged the crisis. Although officials reaffirmed their commitment to enforcement, they declined to comment further at the time of this report, stating only that efforts are ongoing to tackle the environmental challenge. According to the Ogun State Commissioner for Environment, the situation in Ogijo is one inherited from past administrations. He assures that the government is taking steps to strengthen environmental regulation and ensure industries comply with safety standards.
If the industries got there before the resident, do I now send the industries away? Do we shut down all the industries on Ogijo? Or do I tell everybody, evict the people in Ogijo? So, we always have to weigh these two balances. The community sold the land to these industries. They brought this problem. Now, the same Omonile that sold the land to the industry now sold the land contiguous to an industry to an unsuspecting buyer. And by the time you are building your house beside an industry, you know where you are building beside. And I think ultimately what we need to do there is urban renewal, urban resettlement. Because one must give way for the other. For example, noise level, permissive level for industry is 60 decibel in the night. And for residential area, it's 30 decibel. But when you are together, you are beside each other. Do we tell the industry not to operate in the night because you are beside him, or we tell you not to sleep? So who do I prosecute among the two? Who is offending? The easier way, honestly, is to move those industries to our Shagamu Industrial Cluster. We have what we call the Flowergate Industrial Cluster around the Shagamu interchange. So we may end up, we'll stop further development, giving approval for industry development around that area. So, and it's easier for us to do that with our physical planning. This is not a quick fix. It's a medium-term issue. It's a resettlement, okay, like an industrial resettlement plan.
The story of Ogijo isn't just one of industrial growth, but of human cost that comes with unregulated development. As residents continue to call for cleaner air and safe surroundings, the question remains, when will action finally match intention? And that's about it on this week's edition of the program. Until I come your way next time, remember, together we can build a sustainable world. I am Esther Makwariola. Bye for now.